Hey guys, so here we are, 900 subscribers. Well, as of this morning, 901. So there we are, 99 people to go. And then it will be 1,000. How cool is that? Well, if you had told me a few months ago that, well, it's almost a year now. Well, it's not really. But if you had told me that, hey, Frederick, in a few months you are going to go from 0 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers, or in this case 900 subscribers, I would have been very skeptical to that statement. And now I have realized something about myself, it seems. I underestimate how well things will turn out for me. Quite often, in fact, it seems. Because now all of a sudden, it turns out that me, who is very accustomed to having fairly accurate assessments of things, like, I mean, we're programmers, right? It's kind of our job to be informed, to make reasonable assumptions, and do all these sorts of things that we kind of have to do in order to do our job effectively. And I have learned about myself that I am absolute garbage, complete garbage at estimating or projecting how something will turn out. It's the same thing with business ideas. I mean, I'm always wrong about whether or not how much something is going to convert or things of that nature. And apparently it's not an exception when it comes to my own channel. So, just to have it said, thank you so much for watching. It means a great deal to me that somebody has taken so many people is taking an interest in this little hobby of mine. It feels very flattering. It's hard to express in a way that relays how it feels. I won't even try, because I'm not going to be able to do it. But it does feel very great. It feels really great. And what's even more flattering is that I'm seeing something that made me wonder a little bit. Because if you've been watching these videos of mine for a little while, you and I may have gotten to know each other. Maybe just a little bit better. And it's starting to show. I have people who, although I haven't made it easy to contact me or anything of that nature, they're actually reaching out with some very personal stories from their own life. I have, more than on a few occasions, been asked for my opinion about career choices, life choices, all kinds of things. I mean, one of the most off-topic things somebody asked me is whether or not he should start a family, or if he should get his degree first. What do you answer to something like that? Should you start a family, or should you get a degree first? And it made me wonder whether or not I should explore this a little bit. Because it seems to me that although I talk almost exclusively about programming and programming related things, you may have noticed that on occasion, I'm sorry for that if you're not looking for that sort of thing, I just shim in a little small piece of life advice, or let's call it life insight, something that I learned in my 31 years on this little planet of ours. And that's intentional. I hope you realize that, because as I've mentioned a few times, I think by now, I want to not just share what I find as I go through my career. I don't just want to share, like, I want to share the good and the bad. I want you to see that being a programmer is just like, it's just like any, well, it's not just like any other profession, but I want to humanize this profession of ours a little bit, because I think that there's too much content out there and too much sales going on, and I mean, it's very hard to get an accurate assessment of how it is to be in an industry and like what you face and so forth as you go through a career, when all you get is like Google's summits and Facebook's presentations and tech talks and like all that stuff, because that's useful information, but it doesn't really accurately portray, or it doesn't tell the story of the normal programmer. It doesn't tell a story. All it is, it's basically just information and sales pitch, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I think that's what I wanted to do with all of this. I wanted you to know and to show you what regular old, like what life is about when you work as a programmer. That's basically it. Like what you face on a daily challenge, and the things that you get to work with, and the things that you have to consider, and the thoughts that one single person working as a programmer has about and the reflections above all else. All of that I wanted to share, and hopefully that's something that you appreciate, because as I've said before, I've never wanted to be some type of expert that gives you, like, that tries to I've never wanted to be in a position where the conversation that you and I have is about me being some type of super expert teacher type of person trying to explain to you how things work. All I ever wanted was to have a conversation and share some thoughts and document my journey. And adding a little bit of life advice into that and some insights I've had actually seems to go over very well with quite a few people. So I'll not say too much, but maybe I'll experiment a little bit with having something that is even a little bit more human. We'll see where that lands, but it's an interesting thing to kind of look at. I don't want to dilute the channel is about programming, and it should be about programming, but I wonder if there's more to it. I'll explore that a little bit. And if I'm to reflect on anything, what changed between now and 800 subscribers, I would say that I'm almost at the point now where I can talk as I do to this screen of mine, or to you, with basically how I speak to my friends, my coworkers, and so forth. I'm very close to feeling that sensation of, this is just another conversation with another person. And that feels great. It really does, because that's exactly what I want. Because at the end of the day, this is, I'm not editing this, and I'm not trying to prove something to you. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not trying to convince you that everything that I say is correct. All I am trying to have is a conversation with you. And I want that conversation to be as natural as possible. I want you to be the person who decides whether or not what I'm saying resonates with you and has meaning to your life. So, other things that I'm working on right now is I have a few experiments running. I have a few interesting, should I call them? Well, let's call them experiments. And hopefully I can share some, once they reach their conclusion, I'll share my insights into them, and we'll make a few videos about that. And yeah, because I've said it in all the other videos, I'm going to say it in this one as well. Things are looking up. All of the numbers are pointing upwards, and let's see if I make it to 1,000 subscribers. And if I do, What then? What's the next step? You will just have to see, I suppose. Have a great day.